Well, 2 weeks, 2 days later, on the boating extravaganza, the Great Escape 2021, and this is our last day in Northampton Marina, and I've got to say, what a lovely little marina it has turned out to be. It's worth paying for a couple of extra days. Did a blinding few meals here. Special shout out to the Smoke Pit Barbecue. Bloody hell. Truly outstanding in every possible sense, and I bought a piece of artwork which will appear in some future videos, no doubt. So yeah, thumbs up to Liam, the artist from Brighton. Today, not going to go massively far, I wouldn't think. It's probably going to be up to Gayton Junction, and then there's a certain football match. What a shame nobody was filming that. A completely touch-free manoeuvre, reversing out, turning, and then leaving Northampton Marina. You could almost be forgiven for thinking I know what I'm doing. Don't even bother. Don't even bother. I worked out what the building next to the Carlsberg brewery was. It's the old brewery. So if I remember, I'll put an aerial photo from Google to show you what a large brewery it actually is. Sadly, it's Carlsberg, and as you don't know, Carlsberg last year, probably about this time last year, acquired Brooklyn Brewery. So there's another one which is now just basically a name. It's not yeah, well, there's a theory, can't remember where I read it, it might have been Financial Times, something like that, website, obviously I don't buy their paper often, saying that within 10 years most things will be owned by 4 corporations. Wow, scary. So I expect those best pants will be owned by one of 4 major corporations, available from Amazon. It's interesting. Is there something wrong with your wing? I think it's got a broken wing. Huh. And I'm about to crash into the side. And we're back here. And I do like the murals. And I like the idea that it will have been a fairly inclusive project, I guess. Local schools, etc. And they got St Giles there anywhere. So I need to just glide seamlessly into this here lock. I haven't got any power on. I'm just seeing whether or not I have my line right, so that I could take the power off and just drift in. Don't seem a million miles out. Look at that, there's no power. This is just the boat drifting with the line that I set for it. Crash. Yes, floods 1988, 1998. We had great floods in Sheffield 2007, which I caused because I decided that I was going to paint the bay window. But look at that, that's lovely. We do like those. And drifted clean into the lock with no power. Whoa! You're not really technically supposed to do that, but I wasn't under any power and I only drifted into them a little bit. And in days of old, that is how the boatman would have done it. They'd have nudged up to the gates and then left the engine running on tick over, got off and opened the paddles, and then the boat would have just drifted itself in. You don't need any force, and it doesn't actually cause any damage, but it's sort of frowned upon if you do it with any great speed or under power. Here we are. Isn't that pretty? Look at that, isn't that lovely? What a beautiful thing. This is made out of like fencing wire, I think, or some sort of wire, galvanized wire. What a beautiful thing. Wow. I very much approve of such art. Right, time to get back on board and start heading up to, I think there's about 9 locks in a row here. So we're not actually too far off Gayton Junction, but there's a couple of hours worth of locks. But isn't that lovely? What a nice thing to find. I can feel the bottom. There we have a couple of very low pounds in a row. I'm just not even going to bother putting the power on here. I'm going to do a little bit of a manoeuvre just to bring the bow round, and I'm just going to let our little mustn't grumble here gently rest in the mouth of this lock, and even that tiny little bywash isn't having a massive, I can actually feel odd little bits of bottom. That's a strange thing to say, isn't it? Right, so 2 low pounds in a row, and we'll just gently ease ourselves, look, not even under any power, look. And so now the gates are open, I'll add a little bit of power just to gently glide in slowly with no thrust needed. So this is where the water should be, up to about there, but that's okay. Am I in? Beautiful. Another quite low pound, and do you know what? I'm sure these weren't low as we were coming down. Not a problem. It might be a problem if we manage to draw another couple of inches, but yeah, So we're nearing the top now of the Northampton flight. Hey, a bridge too far. And I think there's, what, 3 or 4, I don't know. I need to look on the map more. So we've made reasonable time, actually, 17 locks. It's coming up for 2 o'clock. So we sort of left at 10, sort of. I think we left the pontoon about 10:15. It was actually 11 o'clock when we cleared the first lock. Yes. So not too bad. 3 hours so far. I think when we get to the top, we'll plonk it on the lock standing on the, you know, the little mooring that you shouldn't really moor up on, and have some lunch. And we might actually make it up to where we turn off to go towards Braunston. I don't know, we'll see. Bearing in mind Charlotte here has got to get on a little bicycle and cycle back to Northampton to pick up the car, because we're doing this this trip is all a little bit sort of like ferrying backwards and forwards and things. So it's about 2:45. If we say 4 o'clock by the time we finish, then that's 5 hours. No, it's not. 4 hours ish. 4 hours, yeah. Cause it was planned to leave at 10, and obviously Madame Windlass has to do other stuff. So by the time we got into where we was in the 17th lock, just by where it joins the Nene, at 11. So we'll call this 4 hours, which is okay. And we got a hire boat learning how to turn in front. We just met Uncle Albert. he hasn't got much of a clue. I don't know what he's fucking doing. Christ. It's all over the place in his little yogurt pot. I could have probably sailed straight through him and nobody would have known. That's a place to be breasted up against another boat, isn't it? Bend, bridge, bested up, breasted up. Which doesn't leave an awful lot of room along here. And I just met a couple of paddle boarders. One was very pretty actually, but probably only about in her early 20s, so yeah. Right, where are we doing? So they're about to meet Captain fucking Pugwash, or Uncle Arthur. We're coming up now to Gate and Marina, I think it is. One of those anyway. And from the video where we came down, which was a couple of weeks ago, or probably only about an hour ago in YouTube time, I mentioned the big crane and the frame for popping boats out, and that's actually where our sigh is coming up next week with Dawn and Ali, and they're going to be yanked out here, and then he's going to blacken his bottom and do a repainting job. So they're currently clearing all the bits off the roof, and they'll be doing this journey I think Saturday morning. I'm not sure, but he said he was coming up. This one's just the one that's just come down and turned around while we was having lunch. Wondering if he's getting ready to pull her off. And yeah, chuck that one in. There's a few out. Right, don't do it until I'm past. Definitely an impressive bit of kit. So I'm just going to slow down and wait by these high boats here and see whether we can get some footage of them plonking that in. That'd be rather good, wouldn't it, boys and girls? It's going. We just made it, just got through in time. Otherwise we'd have been waiting for that to go in. Let's stop the engine. So this will be Simon in a couple of weeks. Really is an impressive crane though, isn't it? I'm quite yeah, I'm quite stunned at the lifting capacity. Oops. Zoom out a little bit, stop me wobbling around a bit. There he goes. Going down. That noise, I think, is the M1 or something. and she's in the water. As easy as that. That's it. I'm going to get on going now, and yeah, that's a nice thing to catch. Goody. I find it strange that there's so many hire boats which aren't actually out on hire. Now, most boat hire companies do a staggered turnaround, so they won't do all their turnarounds on the same day. But there's half a dozen down there, and what I think is strange is I've had probably, it's died down a little bit now, but up until probably the beginning of July, I'd be getting at least 2 inquiries a week about boat hire. So I've no idea now why there seems to be just sat there doing nothing. That's about £6,000 a week they're losing. Another seamless manoeuvre, leaving the Northampton Arm, back on Grand Union Canal main line. It's turning into a very, very pleasant day with some very, very pretty girls. Not sure about this one up front, but certainly the one that's never mind. Enough of that. You don't want to hear that. I think I'm losing it. There goes Madame Windlass, off to collect her car. Where are we? We are back at the wharf. And this boat here was following us pretty much up from Gayton, I think. And you could tell they were panicking, really seriously panicking that we might want that mooring. And the look on their face when we moored over here. They only just managed to squeeze it in there. A little bit of contact either end, but it wasn't too bad. So there we are, another day over. 2 weeks, 2 days from the last video. I know it's only yesterday in YouTube land, but what a nice couple of weeks that was, and the extra few days in Northampton was lovely. And considering when we set off on this trip, we was going to go from Nottingham straight over to the Trent and Mersey, and then a last minute change of plan to go and make sure someone was okay in Northampton. Look at that, see, drive it in a couple of hours. It'll take 3 weeks to do it by boat. Beautiful. So here we are, anyway, back at Bugbrooke, and we decided we weren't going to go to the pub tonight because we had quite a few meals out, so we're back to eating on the boat until tomorrow, when we're going to try and hook up with Mark somewhere near Braunston, and because we owe him a meal. Until next time then, the next video I suppose we'll know whether we've won the World Cup or whatever it is. But for now, what a beautiful, almost serene evening at Bugbrooke. Cheers, boys and girls.